What's up, party people? Today we're going to be looking at Dekaron's Bug Boost update. Now, while this update has a couple things in it that are really nice for the most part, I'm actually extremely disappointed with the patch that came out today. So make sure to watch and find out why. Like the video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so that you don't miss any of this epic content. Let's get this party started. Okay, here we go. Bug Boost. Salutations, Dekaron. Now, the first thing that they're mentioning here is about the Hylian launch daily giveaway, and there was actually an issue that happened where before the time actually expired, they stopped sending out the daily reward prizes. And this was really disappointing for a lot of people because a couple people had missed a couple of days, or they actually started on the new server later and they didn't get a lot of the items that they were promised. And they aren't able to actually fix that. It says here that it's just too complex, which is really a shame because a lot of people were actually really close to, like, for example, the crest costume that you get for free, and now they have to start over again and wait an additional 12 days if they want to get that crest costume. I know personally several people who are a day away from this costume, and now their polar bear costume is running out, and now they have to wait another 12 days to get a crest costume unless they spend money, which is just terrible. I really wish that they would have thought about the fact that the final reward is probably one of the best ones, and they would have put that more towards the top, but they didn't. Another thing that is really lame is the cozy gifts. They dropped the reward from 3 to 2. Now, I know a couple other people that specifically farmed 7 cozy gifts because they were supposed to get 3 from the login event, which never happened. Now, because they removed cozy gifts from Boz, if they want to get that additional cozy gift, they have to go farm it in Karen's fire pot, which is a much harder place to farm it, given that it's literally going to take double the amount of time that it would have somewhere else. So overall, I'm not very happy with how this was handled. I guess this is the best way they could have done it. I guess we get some more free stuff, which is cool. They're also doing it on Tristy server, so it's nice for people who are playing on Tristy server. But overall, I'm not crazy happy with how it was handled, but I guess it's better than nothing. Now, they say here there was some internal discussion as to whether 4 weeks would be enough for someone in every class to complete the first to 200 event. The fact that they even thought this was possible, shows me that none of them actually play the game, because getting to level 200 takes a super long time. And if you want it to not take a super long time, you need tons of XP boosting items. That's why personally I've never even attempted to try to get to 200 because I think it's completely unrealistic. The only people that are actually going to get there are the ones that are spending tons of money on scrolls in the D shop. And now I'm not judging anyone. Do what you want with your money, and if that's what you want, that's what you want. But for anyone else, it's like grinding is completely pointless unless you're going to buy that stuff in the D shop. The scrolls and also the Arcadia protection, the holy water, runes, talismans, everything. Unless you're getting that, you're not going to get to level 200. And to me, you should be rewarded for getting to level 200, right? Like, there should be some reward for it. So not only do you have to pay to work hard for level 200, but once you get to level 200 and you get that spicy Grandmaster skill unlocked, you have to pay again to get Grandmaster books. Like, it's pointless. It's so bad. It's such a bad system, especially now that the game actually goes up to level 230. The fact that it's so hard to get to level 200 to me is like a complete joke. I really think they should think about reworking that. I think the Grandmeister skills look really cool. I've never personally been able to experience them, as well as a very large portion of the players, because getting to level 200 is totally unrealistic. And I feel like they're just excluding a lot of people from that content, which is too bad. And honestly, they care so much about making money. Why don't you make it easier to get to level 200, and then everyone can buy your Grandmaster's skill books out of the D shop? Boom. Just made you a bunch of money. Just throwing that out there. They did say something about the DK Square rankings being totaled here and the prizes being mailed out. That's cool. I didn't participate in that, but anyone who worked hard for that, that's awesome. Good for you. Now, they did mention here that the Hylian launch event has ended. And I was actually really concerned about this because the Papaya Start package was actually total garbage, and they actually reworked it, which is really good. So anyone who is starting now, you at least get something. It's not as good as the Hylian event, but it's still enough to get you started in the game, so I am happy to see that. Now, something I want to mention about the Hylian launch event ending is that I really feel like Dekaron dropped the ball here. And the reason for that is because the Hylian event brought all these players in. They brought in new players. They brought in returning players. They had players like me coming from Tristy server to Hylian server. And the event ended, and what do we have? As you'll see with this update, nothing. So I really feel like at this moment, Dekaron is going to lose a lot of players because you didn't give them something to continue going. All the timed items are running out, and what are we supposed to do now? It's like, okay, I guess just keep playing the game as is, but as you'll see with some of these other updates, they're just really fighting that. They really should have had an update ready for when this event ended to keep the players interested in the game, and I really feel like this was a massive missed opportunity, and it's almost like they don't want players to keep playing the game. So that's a really big disappointment, but at least they did make this starter package better, I guess, whatever. So there's some other stuff here. The monsters in the polluted Purifier Deca have been exhausted of their gold and platinum treasure boxes, which I'm really not sure why they did that, but I guess they're switching up the drops or something. I don't really care. Karen Bell fragments, you guys know how I feel about that. Complete joke. Arcadian coin wings, that's nice, although I wish they would just drop the original drops you need for exchanging stuff anyway. I don't get why it has to be the wing drop. And another interesting thing that I want to mention here is there are actually 2 ghost patches in this recent patch, or patches that weren't mentioned here, and I'll mention them. The first one being that the Treasure Hunter Rune box that you get from the Treasure Hunter Rune no longer gives golden keys. Now, I think this is absolutely terrible. That was like the main draw of those boxes in the first place, was that you could get keys without actually having to spend money. Like, you had to actually farm or set up in a, like a battle support account, something, but at least you could get those keys. And now they just took them out for, like, I don't know, no good reason, and they don't even mention that they're doing it here, which I think is, like, absolutely ridiculous. The thing about the keys and the boxes is there are tons of items in these boxes that are needed in-game for endgame players, or for you to reach endgame. And when they make it harder to get them, like, you're just excluding players from being able to reach endgame. And at least when the keys were there, someone who isn't just, paying tons of money had a chance to get some of those items, or there were more of those items on the market to be bought with dill instead of in the D shop. I really think this is a bad move, and I really hope they reconsider it. Now, they did add a couple of changes to the D shop here, and that was just a couple of, new deals. And for the most part, as you guys know, I don't really pay too much attention to this, but as you can see here, there's a couple new boxes. There's more XP scroll boxes. They said there's more chance to get the 1400 scrolls, but I've already seen a bunch of posts of people who have bought these, and you're still just getting a ton of 200%. So it's still really bad rates. Once again, not selling people what they actually want, just giving them random boxes. Terrible. Anyway, this right here, to me, is one of the most upsetting things that has ever happened in this game. Now, I might be being a little dramatic, but I honestly feel that way. Players can now purchase Dragon tickets directly from the D shop with bulk discount. Dragon tickets are needed to access the Dragon Nest dungeon in Matira. Now, as I'm sure some of you know, ever since Dragon Nest was released, approximately 3 years ago, there was a bug in the dungeon. This bug allowed you to double spawn the bosses. Now, because of that, guess what? The dungeon was actually worth farming. It was actually worth spending time. And guess what? It wasn't like you just got tons of OP drops all the time. You still had to farm your heart out to get anything you wanted, but at least the dungeon was worth doing. Guess what? With this patch, without even mentioning it, they removed that bug that has been in the game for 3 years. Now, the dungeon has become significantly less, or it's just not worth doing anymore, because you're not really profiting from it, because you're not able to sustain your Dragon Nest tickets like you were before. In addition to that, I feel like the seed and anger drop rates, or ghost drop rates, in it has been significantly reduced as well. I did a couple runs and I barely got any seeds or ghosts to potentially continue doing the dungeon. But don't worry, guys, you're not getting enough tickets for the dungeon. Open up your wallets and buy some Dragon Nest tickets. You know what's so funny about this, though? They fixed that bug, they added the tickets, and no one's even going to buy these tickets. You know why? Because the dungeon isn't worth doing anymore. Thanks, Papaya, for killing another dungeon. Anyway, We'll keep going here. Now, they did mention here that for the next 2 weeks, the secret stashes have been removed from Boz and relocated to Karen's Firepot. Like I said before, for people trying to farm the cozy gifts, this really sucks because Karen's Firepot has less bosses and takes longer to complete. So unfortunately, anyone trying to farm the cozy gift is just going to have, or cozy gifts is going to have a much harder time getting them. But at least it's still possible for the next 2 weeks. Now, this is actually kind of a cool update. I like this one. We're also introducing a new stash this week and next week with a mix of useful low-level items for new characters and some slightly valuable items that have been requested by the community. Defeating the bosses of Python Castle will reveal the new Dusty stash. Now, I actually did a couple of these, and right away I was able to get the Apprentice Blacksmith Talisman 50%. Now, a 50% talisman sounds really good, right? What's interesting about it is it can only be used on items up to level 160, which to me is kind of silly because there really aren't too many items under 160 that you would want to plus up. And in addition to that, as you guys know, with the upgrading system, for non-epic gear, unless you also have a Blacksmith Protector, your item can still break with this. I really wish that this would have not been capped at 160, and they would have also added in protectors into this drop table. I think it would have brought a lot more, normal items into the game that are plussed up, made it easier to farm. And the funny thing is, it says it's for low-level items, but honestly, that would still be just as relevant for low-level characters, because guess what? No one uses items under level 160. They just don't. Even new players. You end up getting better stuff anyway. And the only item I can think of that this would be useful for is making the Tristy Armlet, so that is one good thing. It would be nice to see some Tristy Armlets on the Hylian server because, with the critical cap being increased to what it is, having those available in the market I think would be really good. So I have a feeling that because of this, we'll be seeing some more +9 armlets in the game. So I am happy about that. And another thing, hallelujah, is they added pliers to this drop table, and that is awesome, and they are tradable. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. This, not only did we get free crest costumes on the server, well, those of you who did, but now you have 12 more days to get a new one. But we can now change our crests without having to spend any money, and that is super generous and awesome, and I really appreciate that being added into the game. There will be tons of hot pliers and pliers coming in, and we will be able to farm them and buy them from other players for the foreseeable future. So that is fantastic. This Cardia drop is also really nice if you're trying to get that earring. Battlefield Rune, always happy to have. The Soulstone exchange box is completely useless. I'm not really sure why they put that in there because you can get them for seeds at Jack anyway. And then, of course, who doesn't like a cute little worm costume, right? It just looks really nice. Anyway, so that is that. So let's go down here a little farther. They did actually fix a ton of bugs, which this makes me really happy because it makes me see that, they care about the game a little bit, which is good. One of the big ones is that all the crafting recipes have been restored. This has been really annoying because, for me, who's farming Crespo hard mode, I can't get the Fabno Flames to one-shot the traps. So now that this is in game, I won't have trouble with that anymore, which makes me really happy. So this also got fixed, which is nice. There was a quest in Norak Cave called Event Davichi's Other Self. You were supposed to get a Treasure Hunter rune box from it, and it just wasn't giving that. So it's nice that they fixed that. However, it would be cool for those of us who already did the quest and now can't take advantage of it if they reset that quest, but I have a feeling that's probably going to be too complicated. So another thing that's interesting is Jack and Tess and other merchants who deal in items traded instead of dill are opening it for business. These NPCs were not working, and I'm happy to see that they fixed them. So they also fixed the name of the Blacksmith Glory 40% because it was actually a grace, so good thing that got fixed. This one's a little silly. Runes from the new basic rune 30-day exchange box should be activating properly. What sucks about this is a lot of us have already opened these up and these runes are already gone or almost gone. So yeah, cool, you fixed them, but we didn't actually get to use them. It'd be nice if we got new boxes. Any remaining Halloween special package or 130 achievement packs that are still around can now be opened. I didn't even know those existed, so good for that. This one right here is huge. At long last, Undo Mizoki and his assistants will speak to you as you undertake the test of Undo Mizoki. And I'm pretty sure they're talking about the party dungeon, and it's because a while ago they patched something and they broke the dungeon. The dungeon still worked, but all of the commands about where you're supposed to go were not there, so you had to kind of guess. So I'm really happy to see that this was repaired. This is a huge quality of life thing. And now the last little thing here is about the Gold Dragon Scale belt. Now, I kind of don't care about this because the Gold Dragon Scale belt has always tilted me a little bit, just because there's no way for you to actually farm it, or no realistic way for you to farm it without spending money. So I kind of don't care. But basically, there was not an exchange option for the tradable version of the belt, and now you can get the binding belt, and then you can trade it plus another shards for the other belt. It's funny, though, because you can't use a combination of, like, bound and unbound golden shards, which is silly, because, like, they've been randomly giving out bound and unbound ones for, like, a while. So that's just, it's just bad. I get that they can't fix it, but it's just bad. I really wish this belt was, like, actually farmable without spending money, because basically you have to have, like, 10 billion seeds, or you have to go farm dungeons where they very rarely drop, so that's not going to happen, or you have to spend money on auto fishing rods in the D shop, and then congratulations, eventually you will get this belt, but it'll still take a really long time. Poor system. I hate it. I wish the belt was more available. Anyway, guys, that is it for this update review. The last thing I just want to say is, overall, I'm really disappointed with this update today, in that they really needed something to keep people playing the game. I already have heard from tons of players, tons of you guys, that you're probably going to quit the server now because there really was no follow-up here, and I find that really disappointing. I really hope that sometime soon here, maybe in the next week or so, we do get an interesting update to get people playing, but as of right now, honestly, I don't even feel like playing. Maybe I'll hop on, I'll do my dailies, I'll probably put out a couple more guides this week, but yeah, overall, I just don't feel like Dekaron is trying to keep their players as much as they should be. I think they're focused way too much on making money and not giving players, the content that they need. Just being honest here. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, as always, you can leave them in the comments. And until next time, guys, take care.